Welcome to the UFC Paris edition of Prop Drop, where I briefly go over every single matchup on the card from a props perspective and give you my favorite props for the winners and for the losers in case you're looking for hedge opportunities. We did lose probably the best fight on the entire card this morning at the weigh-ins as Losine Keita missed weight by 3 pounds. Very unfortunate. Patricio Pitbull does not accept, any of the offers that Keita was trying to make to try to save the fight. Props to Pitbull. You got to stand your ground. It is what it is. Unfortunate that we don't get to see the fight. And I saw some rumors that Keita might have been cut from the UFC. I'm hoping that's all fabricated. I don't think it's true. I didn't see it from a legitimate enough source as of yet, at least confirmed. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully Keita, from what I heard, he took the fight 3 weeks ago when he was 170 pounds, and that was not enough time for him to get down to 145 pounds. Reminder, he was a double champ over there in Octagon where he fought for 145 and 155, but it's been a while since he actually completed at 145 pounds. So very unfortunate situation there. He was my lock of the night play. I'll just say it flat out there. So I'm going to have to shift those units over to somebody else that I already have in mind, which I'll be dropping on the final plays and predictions post on the Lock of the Night Patreon page. You can find that bad boy in the link in the description below. All right, you guys are here for the props, so let's get right into the props. First matchup up, we got Sam Hughes going up against Shauna Bannon. I'm expecting Hughes to be in the driver's seat for the majority of this matchup and utilizing a forward pressure approach, landing some takedowns, some good output, some good volume. I think she'll be able to shut down the kicking game of Bannon, and I think she'll be able to shut down the submission game of Bannon, and I think that will lead to Hughes winning this fight on the scorecards, which you can get at minus 160. On the flip side, if Bannon wins, I think the only way she really wins is if she catches Hughes in a submission, which I just don't think is possible. But again, out of all the props that I had available to me for the Bannon side, I thought the submission prop would be the most likely outcome should she pull off the upset, and you can get that prop at plus 1400. All right, next up, we got Andreas Gustafsson going up against Rinat Fakhretdinov. Gustafsson, obviously, everybody loves him after that great performance that he had against Chaos Williams. He should be able to do something similar here to Fakhretdinov, although he will have some serious grappling and chain wrestling to deal with. I think he'll be able to fend off most of it by landing more damage as well. And once this fight hits the scorecards, which I believe it will, we'll see Gustafsson get his hand raised by decision, which comes in at plus 195. There is a possibility that Gus has a little bit better of a gas tank than Fakhretdinov and is able to maybe muster up a late finish. You can get Gus round 3 plus 1300, Gus round 3 KO plus 1600. On the flip side, if Fakhretdinov wins, probably outgrapples Gustafsson for the first 2 rounds and picks up a very close decision, which you can get at plus 240. Now, next up, we got Brad Tavares going up against Robert Bryczek. Tavares, I'm expecting to see a classic striking performance from him here. Not much of a knockout threat. Bryczek normally has good durability. I think we'll see Tavares win this fight by decision, which you can get at minus 105. And then on the flip side, if Bryczek still has those fists that can go burr, or brr, however they say it, however the young kids say it nowadays, maybe him to win by knockout at plus 410 is not a bad hedge opportunity. All right, next up, we got Sam Patterson looking for his 4th straight victory here, going up against Trey Waters. Patterson, I think he's going to be competitive with the Waters in the striking realm, but I think that will eventually lead to a good takedown opportunity for him where he can apply his BJJ black belt and pull off a submission, which you can get at plus 210. On the flip side for Waters, he probably sticks behind his jab, keeps Patterson at bay, stays away from the takedown threat, and chips away at Patterson on the feet. And if he wins, that probably comes by decision, which is standing at a whopping plus 500. Next up, we got the short notice Harry Hardwick, who is the current Cage Warriors featherweight champion, coming in on short notice to take on Cowie Fernandes after Fares Ziam was forced out of the matchup earlier this week. I like me some Hardwick. I know he's coming up a weight class, but he has the style that has caused Fernandes problems in the past, and that's a lot of pressure, forward movement, output, and volume. I'm expecting the durability of Hardwick to help him push through some of the shots he'll be eating in return, and I think that could lead to Hardwick actually getting a late stoppage here, which you can get round 3 3 Hardwick at plus 2,200. You could also get round 3 Hardwick by KO at plus 3,500, which I think is a wild number as well. All in all, if he can get the finish, he probably wins by decision, which you can get at plus 280. Same thing for Fernandes. I think he's going to struggle to get this fight to the ground to get to his BJJ black belt, and Hardwick has shown an ironclad chin throughout his career, and for I'd be surprised if Fernandes finishes him there, and I think if Fernandes wins, that probably comes by decision at plus 195. Next up, we got a rematch here between Marcin Tybura and Ante Delija. A lot of love coming in on Delija over the last 12 hours or so on the money line, but I think it's going to be Delija by knockout. I think his aggressive nature in terms of crashing the pocket with big power punches will eventually clip Tybura and put him away, but I could also see Delija implementing takedowns and top pressure and maybe landing some ground and pound there to possibly get a finish that way as well. But I think Delija KO plus 155 would be the prop in this matchup. On the flip side, if Tybura wins, he probably puts together a good body of work with volume, output, takedowns, maybe some control, and if he wins, he probably does it by decision, which currently comes in at plus 270. All right, next up, we got Umar C. looking to get back in the win column in front of his home country. He's going up against Brenjison Ribeiro, who's looking to bounce back from a knockout loss to from Azamat Mirzakhanov. I think C gets Ribeiro to the ground, finishes him within 1.5. C inside the distances, minus 145. The KO and submission props are lingering around that minus 200, minus 250 range, but I really can't put my finger on which one. I expect him to get dominant position, but from there, it's either ground and pound or Ribeiro leaves himself open to get submitted. Either way, inside the distance probably the better way to go to just save yourself. On the flip side for Ribeiro, if he wins, it's probably a flash knockout. He has some deceiving power, and his KO prop comes in at plus 750. Next up, we got a solid matchup here between William Gomis and a former champion from KSW making his UFC debut, Robert Ruchala. Very fun fight here, but I believe the speed and technical striking advantage of Gomis is going to be the difference. Ruchala can definitely eat some shots, so I don't think Gomis will put him away, but I think we'll see Gomis chip away at him and win this fight on the scorecards, which you can currently get at plus 110. On the flip side, I think if Ruchala wins, he's going to have to take advantage of Gomis slowing down as he often does later on in matchups, and you can get Ruchala to win in round 3 at plus 3,000. Which is not a bad hedge opportunity, especially knowing how much Gomis slows down late. Our next up, we got Reese McKee taking on Aries FC champion, making his debut, Axel Sola. Unfortunately for McKee, I think Sola is just a little bit more well-rounded, and I think that will allow him to utilize good striking, well-timed takedowns, and good control from top position, which should help him win this fight on the scorecards, which you can currently get at plus 195. On the flip side, for McKee, if he wins, I think it's him battering Sola, defending takedowns, landing more output, and also winning on the scorecards, which you can get at plus 280. Next up, we got a possible fight of the night contender here, and Mason Jones going up against Balaji Oki. I do have to side with Jones here, as I believe that he'll be able to put together a better body of work with his striking, output, forward pressure, and takedowns. And obviously, the experience advantage he has here is going to be massive, and I think his durability will help him big time as well, as Oki may not be able to get the finish here. So I think Jones wins. I think he does it on the scorecards, which can get at plus 190, and then on the flip side for Oki, you can get him to win by decision at plus 290. Our next up, light heavyweights going at it here, as we have Modestas Bukauskas going up against Paul Craig. I think Bukauskas wins, and a lot of people, or at least the props indicate that Bukauskas was going to get the knockout. I just don't see that coming to fruition. I think Craig is going to kind of threaten with takedowns, threaten with some power punches, and Bukauskas is going to have to take a little bit more of a tepid-paced approach, and I think that will see him outstrike Craig, mix it up in the clinch a little bit, defend some takedowns, eat some clock, and end up winning this fight on the scorecards, and you can get Bukauskas by decision at plus 330. On the flip side for Craig, we know his one and only way to really win fights is to win by submission. You can get Craig by submission at plus 500. All right, co-main event, which seems to have everybody up in arms in terms of picking a side. We got Benoit Saint-Denis going up against Maurizio Ruffy. I love me the grappler here in Saint-Denis, as I think that he'll be able to get the positions that he needs to wear Ruffy down, keep him away from his dangerous striking style of flashing kicks and big power. And I think that will see Benoit really push Ruffy against the cage, drag him to the ground, constantly get his back, and I think he eventually finds a submission, which you can get at plus 500. The majority of finishes for Saint-Denis as of late have come in the second round, and you can get the second round submission prop at plus 1,600 for Saint-Denis here. On the flip side, obviously for Ruffy, if he wins, probably comes by knockout, which you can get at plus 120. And that brings us to the main event now, as we have Nasruddin Imavov looking to show out in front of his home country, going up against Caio Borralho, who's looking to play spoiler. And I have to lean with the spoiler here in Borralho, as I think he is the overall superior fighter. I think he can devise the perfect game plan to thwart Imavov's style, and whether that's with a output-heavy approach to constantly disrupt the rhythm of Imavov, or mixing in takedowns at well-timed moments, I think that will allow him to go out there and put together a good enough body of work to win this fight at least 4-1 on the scorecards, which you can get at plus 160. On the flip side, I think if Imavov wins, it probably comes by finish. You know, I have a hard time believing that should this fight hit the scorecards, that he's able to be the better minute winner and better round winner, whereas Borralho has that knowledge in terms of executing game plans and just sticking with it. So if Imavov wins, I think he gets the knockout, which you can get at plus 460. All right. That brings us to the top three prop spots in Longshot. Let's quickly talk about last week's, or the last UFC event, I should say, UFC Shanghai. Put it at a round one knockout plus 440. Who knew that it would be Chris Dawkins round one knockout? Nobody saw that one coming. Second one was Rongju via knockout plus 460. Shout out to Austin Hubbard for making that a little bit more competitive than I expected it to be. But we did end up hitting on Sergey Pavlovich by decision over Waldo Cortez Acosta at plus 350. So I was very happy about that. And then the long shot was Long Xiao by knockout at plus 750. I thought he'd be a little bit more successful there, and you know, it was great seeing him just launch elbow after elbow in the last minute of that fight, but seeing the chaotic nature of that, I thought he should have let go with some more punches, and that probably could have produced a finish as well. So unfortunate that we don't get the long shot there. All right, let's get to this week's top three prop spots on long shot. The first of which is going to be Sam Patterson by submission at plus 210. Then we're going to go Modestas Bukauskas by decision plus 330. And then we're going to finish it off here with Caio Borralho by decision at plus 160. And the long shot, we're going to go with Benoit Saint-Denis, round two submission plus 1,600. There you guys go. That is a wrap on all of the UFC Paris content. LFA goes down tonight, so make sure you guys check out the breakdown that I dropped yesterday for that card. I'll also have track plays for that on the Lock of the Night Patreon page. I will warn you guys, it is a horrible card for betting, so I went quite light on this card. But if you still want to see what that is, check out the Lock of the Night Patreon page. Otherwise, you can also check out that page for all the track plays that I have for this UFC Paris card. And then I'll be getting to work on the Noche UFC card pretty much as soon as I'm done putting out this video for you guys, so you guys can expect written breakdowns for that to start dropping on the Patreon page. Sunday, obviously, Contender Series breakdowns will come out on YouTube, and then the MMA Lawcast breaking down Noche UFC will come out on Monday. All right, good luck on all your action this weekend, folks, and I'll see you guys again on Sunday for the Contender Series. Peace.